I'm recording this on my MacBook. I just moved into my new apartment in downtown Los Angeles. It is very cute. And I just want to document my mental state and how I evolve as a person. And today, what's really weighing heavy on my heart is that I am 10 years out of high school and 6 years out of college. And for the first time, I can say very confidently that college was worth it for me. I know college is not worth it for everybody, so they say. I don't know if that is true. And hear me out. Yes, the world is your oyster. You can do anything. And I've always been very ambitious. Yesterday, I went to a high school graduation for my little cousin, and it was such a surreal moment because I didn't realize on my way there that I hadn't been to that stadium since my graduation at that college 10 years ago. So I'm just feeling very reflective, like, oh my God, it's been 10 years since I graduated high school. Who am I? What am I? How is it going? And my apartment is beautiful. I don't think high school me would have ever dreamed that this would be my apartment in 10 years, or that my life would look the way it looks. And honestly, I'm happy that my peers largely are doing well. But also, if I'm being honest with myself, a lot of people I know are not doing well right now. And the peers of mine who are doing well are the ones who went to college. Um, and there's a lot of obstacles that you have to factor in when you go to college. So I'm not saying that it's easy. It was hard for me. I went to New York University, I went to Tisch, and I majored in theater. I remember there was so much discourse about me going to NYU and majoring in theater. Like, everybody's like, what are you gonna do with a theater degree? NYU is expensive. They're not wrong. And also, they're not wrong. Um, my high school counselor told me not to apply. She told me not to waste my time, to pick a safer school, to play it safe, to make sure I went somewhere I could afford it. And I don't think I did so consciously, but maybe out of arrogance, I just was like, I think NYU and me go together. So I'm going to go and I'm going to figure it out. And that's really how I've lived my life. Like, whenever I get to a road, there's a path that's more comfortable and there's a path of resistance. I'm like, or I won't call it resistance, but there's a path that I'm like, I just feel like I feel a little anxious about it. I feel a little bit like, I don't know what I'm going to do there. I feel a little bit like I see something vaguely. I see a life that could be fun and abundant, but I don't fully understand it yet. I always lean towards that path because playing it safe I don't like passing up opportunities. And going to NYU, in my opinion, was an opportunity for me. Like, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to make out of a theater degree. I had an idea. I knew, like, I want to perform. I want to be on stage, blah, blah, blah. And what that has really evolved into is me understanding that I'm like, I want to be a personality. I want to have good influence. I want to shift the culture in a way that I think is cool, in a way that I think is grounded and, like, adds authenticity and really asks people to show up for themselves and for each other. And all that to say, as I'm sitting in this apartment and just reflecting on all the things I had to do to get to this moment, like, everything was a risk. And going to college, I think, was the biggest risk. Going to the expensive college, going to the college that was across the country. I'm from LA. I'm a LA girl. I'm suburban. I'm from Long Beach. I'm from Carson. And these were things that, like, nobody had done. I didn't know anybody. I had never been. I had never really been on a plane when I went to um, New York. Like, I had flown to Vegas and I had flown to Miami once when I was in, like, eighth grade. So traveling and all that stuff was just very new to me. All that to say, I feel like I'm, like, rambling, but I also made this so I could ramble freely. College was worth it for me because it shifted my mindset. Did I come out of college with the best job? No. But the opportunities that I was granted in college planted seeds that have continued to sprout throughout my life. I'll be concrete and give you a few examples. When I was in college, one day I missed the bus. It's raining. I missed the bus and I end up getting a free burger. Or I see a sign that says free burgers. And I was so broke in college. Anything free, I was like, free burgers. That's not cafeteria food. Thank God. So I went, I got this free burger. It ended up being a film festival. And then they were like, you got to join. In so many words, because like, we need women. There's not a lot of black women in this film festival. You know, you made it here not by chance. You also ate our burgers. So like, why don't you join? And I'm like, I don't really have any skills in the film space. I'm majoring in theater. All that to say, I joined the film festival. I volunteered to be a social media manager because I'm just like, I had ran some social accounts at that point. This was my sophomore year of college, and that's all I felt like I could offer. Long story short, I end up missing another train to do film coverage at the Tribeca Film Festival for that same film festival at college. It was called Fusion Film Festival, and I eventually get to the Tribeca Film Festival. I meet a woman the next day. She's like, or that same evening we meet, she's like, hey, do you want to come intern for Will Smith at Westbrook? And I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah. The next day, I get a follow-up email offering me the internship. And I'm like, well, shit. And I've been a social media manager for, I think I'm on my 9th year now. I am, because of college in that moment. And I've been able to build a fruitful career as a social media manager, social media producer. And all of my skills have really come into play. When I was in college, the thing that I think NYU plants in people, and the reason why Violet Pride works, or the reason why so many talented artists come out of NYU, is they teach you how to think. The whole first year of where I was at, I was in the experimental theater wing, and I hated it because these were muscles that I didn't understand. I didn't understand their value or why or how, and I was also painfully arrogant, and I didn't understand they were teaching me how to think. And I was just like, but I already think, and I know how to think, and I'm creative, and that's why I'm here, and you're going to recognize my talent, blah, blah, blah. If I could go back in the past, I would tell myself to just bring it down a few, sit down, just listen, just listen, trust the process. They tell you trust the process. I was like, what's the process? Where's the curriculum? Want none of that. And I spent so much time just thinking and taking inventory of what was around me. It taught me how to observe. We would have classes where they'd be like, go out and watch people today. And yeah, you people watch, but when your assignment is to people watch, I'm like, well, shit, let me see what I see for real. NYU taught me how to use my eyes. We had this class called writing the essay, and I hated it because I was like, what do you mean? I know how to write an essay, intro, body, conclusion. No, NYU is like, a paragraph is a web. I need you to connect how this lion's mane relates to the infinite possibilities and variables of the ways that fire can exist in the world. And you have to actually do it. And it was in that, and it can't be bullshit either. So like, they taught me how to think in abstractions, is I think how I'll define it. And in thinking through abstractions, I've been able to make sense of a life that I can't see practically. That's how I've been able to alchemize and continue moving and building my career, even though the pieces don't fit in any traditional way. Even though my life does not fit in any traditional way, I've been able to alchemize something meaningful because I understand the big picture, truly. I'm like, the limitations that I have, I am painfully aware of. The limitations that society has built for me, I am also painfully aware of. But I also have the wit and the wherewithal to see above and beyond all of that. And because that is the way NYU taught me to think and move and create as an artist, I am able to find levels of success for myself that I had not otherwise envisioned. And for me today, I can say for that reason in itself, college was worth it. Wow. College was worth it for me. It was hard. I was kicking and fighting. I still have student loans that I'm working through. I still have whatever qualms about the education system and who gets to access it and when and how. But for God's grace or the universe, I made it through, and I am here as testimony that college can't be worth it, depending on where you go, why, how, when. You know, everything requires a little bit of luck, a little bit of putting yourself out there. The last thing that I will say about NYU is NYU really, because it's in the city and you are just kind of integrated with New York, I understood the value of being on the scene, being around the people who live like you want to live, the being around the people who create like you want to create. Like NYU was, you're outside, you're mixing and mingling. And on the very first day at NYU, the now dean, the former chair of drama, Ruben Palindo, sat us down and had this talk with us and was like, I want to encourage you all to go after like everything you want, and until you are told no 3 times, you can't stop going for it. And something about that really resonated with me, and I was like, be told no 3 times, right? Like, the way that looks is like, oh, let's say I want this, I want to do photography for this company. I'm gonna reach out to them. Hey, I'm interested in doing photography for your company. And they say, not right now. Or they say no. And I'm gonna follow up. Okay, well, are there other opportunities? Should I follow up at a later date? Like, can you talk more about like what would make you interested in this? Like, what's scope? Is it the price? Like, it's the first no is a soft no, and I just mean business and like art and work. Obviously, sometimes, yeah. Um, you know, learning how to advocate for yourself as an artist and creator was basically what Ruben said. And the second no, the first no is like soft no. Second no, gauge where the parameters around this no are. The third no, he was like, all right, you take that no and use it as a redirection. But it was never an end. And I think once I understood that, like, there's the no is not ever an end, it's only ever a redirection or a jumping off point to somewhere else, I feel like I was able to run free. Like, in my world, the limit does not exist. The rock means nothing. And I encounter people very often who didn't have these words poured into them at a younger age, and they have self limiting beliefs, they have challenges, they have whatever. But for me, I genuinely believe I can do anything, because why can't I? Like, what do you mean I can't? Like, there are people doing any fucking thing on the planet. Why would there just all of a sudden be a limit just made especially for me? I don't believe that. I'm not saying I low-key don't think I have limits. Like, you read these books about creativity as well, and please read about creativity, what it means to make something. You know who else makes things? God, the universe. We make things out of nothing, quite literally. As artists, we are sources of new life, and I think that is the most powerful thing you can have. Once you can create effectively, I don't think there's anything that you can't do. You can create the life you want. You can create the world you want. The all of everything that is because somebody created it. Somebody, something, someone created that beat for us. Somebody was laying in a cave and was like, hey, yo, what if we mix these things and we started building shapes that we could live in? And now we have like fucking skyscrapers. Like, every single thing you look at is the beat of somebody's source of creation. And as humans, we have the obligation to further that objective, quite literally, which is why people have children. All that to say, this mentality I have, this spirit I have of creation and discernment, largely stem from going to college. I do think you can reach these levels of creativity and everything outside of college, but for me, where I grew up, I don't think I would have gotten there necessarily. Not because there was anything wrong with how I grew up or where I grew up, but that's just not how they think there. I do think that, like, if you, like, I have my roots in me, but to reach the level of freedom, financial freedom, emotional freedom, physical freedom that I was looking to have, it was very crucial to me to go out and see the world and interact and engage with new things in this manner. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Whew. Y'all have an amazing creative day. Go out there and get it.